What do you make of the case the House managers have methodically laid out over the past 2 days?
Well, first of all, Shep, I just want to say thank you for having me on. I've watched you from a distance for a while, and I've really respected your independence. And I think that kind of independence is what we really need. That kind of independence is what we need in Congress. I mean, just to review this case and think about it neutrally, like I teach my law students on the first day, pretend the identity of the parties was reversed. So pretend this, if you're a Democrat, pretend this is a Democratic president who acted this way. If you're a Republican, ask yourself how you'd feel if it were a Democratic president, and would you come to the same conclusion? I thought what the House managers did over the last couple of days was incredibly compelling. Impeachment doesn't require a crime, although I do think they may have shown a crime was committed. It requires putting the American people's interests behind your own personal interests. That's what, Vice President Pence said was a high crime misdemeanor when he was in Congress in 2008. And I thought that the members of Congress did that, the House representatives today did that so well.
Neil, several Republicans have already said they're not convinced of the connection between the rampage and the former president's actions and words. Is there a weakness at all that you see in the House manager's case here? Did they fail to successfully connect all the dots?
I don't think so. I think for two reasons. One is that the House managers focus on what happened during and after the attack. I mean, Representative Raskin today said, Trump's lawyers, you got to answer 5 questions. And the first 3 were like, why did Trump not do anything while the attack was happening? And why afterwards, this is, a later point, why afterwards you go and praise these people and say, this is the kind of thing that happens when an election is stolen and so on. So that's point one. Point two is the Democrats made, I think, a very strong but-for causation argument. They said, look, if there was no Trump, if Trump weren't president, this would have never happened. Imagine any of the 44 other presidents our nation's had, they would have stopped this. Frankly, pick anyone out of the phone book and put them in as president, this wouldn't have happened. And while that may not be enough for a criminal conspiracy or incitement charge to put someone in jail, it certainly is when you're asking the question, is this person fit for office? Is this person someone who's capable of discharging the oath to uphold the Constitution and protect the American people?
Neil, looking ahead now, the former president's lawyers get to make their argument. You've argued that dozens of cases before the Supreme Court. Were you in their shoes, how would you approach this defense?
I would not put one on. I'd say tomorrow, I didn't think they proved the case, and I would go home and I wouldn't say a word. Ordinarily that would be very risky. Here, you've got, I think, unfortunately, some members of the Senate who've already basically pre-made up their minds. And so if I were them, that's what I would do. I just wouldn't say anything. And frankly, when you have a client that's hard to defend, sometimes the best thing you can do is shut up.
Neil Katyal, thank you so much. Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.